Featherweight champ Alexander Volkanovski went to war for the third time with longtime rival Max Holloway last weekend, scoring an impressive decision win. He was already 2-0 up, but extended his performance over Holloway, as well as the division, with an incredibly impressive performance over the durable Hawaiian legend, who has spoken out about the fight recently. Today, we're discussing Holloway's thoughts on Volkanovski and their UFC 271 fight. Stay with us. First up, let's quickly discuss the fight. Alexander Volkanovski just keeps getting better and better, which is a terrifying prospect for the rest of the featherweight division, as there seems to be no one capable of beating the Aussie at the moment. Volk was at it from the first bell and never gave Holloway time to settle, or get his high-intensity, high-volume style going. Instead, Volk dominated the proceedings, as well as the center of the octagon, and never once looked in danger. The former rugby player controlled the action and finished the fight 50-45 up on all three judges' scorecards, easily winning every round. In the second, Holloway was rocked by a big right hand which opened up a huge cut over his left eye, but his cut man did an excellent job of patching up Blessed, packing the cut full of Vaseline. The later rounds played out just as the opening two had, with Volk in control and Holloway struggling to ever really trouble him. The challenger looked a split second off the pace throughout most of the night, with Volk getting in and out without ever really getting tagged, and it was evident by the end of the fight just who had won, simply by looking at Volkanovski's face. The champ looked as though he'd been in a spar retreat for 5 rounds, while Holloway was battered and bloodied. What did you guys make of the fight? Give us your thoughts below. So, what did Holloway say after the fight? Let's see. Well, although he would have been bitterly disappointed by his performance and the result, Max was humble in defeat, and he seemed to be in good spirits, jokingly suggesting that although Volk had closed out their trilogy with 3 consecutive wins, he was still 2-0 in knockdowns over the series, which was actually pretty funny. After the fight, Holloway took to Twitter to give props to Volk and get right behind him in his bid to become double champ. He said, "I'm still up 2-0 on knockdowns for the trilogy. Probably gonna need a 4th to settle this. Just playing. Congrats to my brother Alex Volkanovski. Go get that 155-pound strap. You earned the shot. You're number 1 P for P right now." And it's hard to disagree with Max's assessment that Volk is the current pound-for-pound number 1, as there's only really Kamaru Usman who could claim the title ahead of him. Holloway, who didn't want fans to feel sorry for him, went on to say, "To all the fans, don't cry for me, Argentina," in reference to the Madonna song. "This is part of life. We need to rebuild, and we will. I love you." And Volk was on hand to respond to the kind words, saying, "Absolute legend, brother. It's nice to see 2 superstars hold each other in such high regard, and is exactly how it should be after fights. Well done, guys. Who's your favorite UFC fighter at the minute?" So what's next for the pair? Whilst Holloway will undoubtedly take some time out after a pretty heavy beating, Volk looked as though he could go again next week. And he's spoken about wanting to fight at least 3 or 4 times this year, and he is acutely aware of how short fighters' careers are at the top level. Having cleaned out the featherweight division, Volkanovski moving to 155 is now being seriously talked about, and Volk wants to join the Champ Club, which currently only has 4 members: Conor McGregor, Daniel Cormier, Henry Cejudo, and Amanda Nunes. Some have suggested that he is better than all of them, pound for pound. Speaking after his dominant win over Holloway, Volk said, "Max Holloway is an absolute beast. I just proved to you that I want to be in this octagon as much as possible. I want to be busy, I want to move up and go for double champ, and I'll keep 2 divisions busy." He went on to say he doesn't care who has the belt, as he only has that double champ status in mind. However, some have said he could struggle against the bigger lightweights, but Max Holloway is a giant at featherweight, and Volk has had no problems navigating him. Unfortunately though, he could be out a little while, as he appeared to have broken his right hand during the fight. Do you think he could be a Division 2 champ? Let us know below. Next up, we're talking claims of Volk being pound for pound number 1. Stay with us. After his incredible performance against Max this past weekend, many people have suggested that Alexander Volkanovski is in fact the pound for pound number 1 fighter on the planet, and his coach, Eugene Behrman, appears to agree with Max Holloway, who's called the Great the P for P number 1. Behrman revealed that he was shocked at the level of dominance his fighter showed, saying, "Oh man, I'm lost for words, man. Like, it's just the team, me, Joe, Alex, the coaches. We talked about a masterclass, about just cementing and solidifying every round and just being convincing." Behrman was shocked at how convincing Volk was, and he said he had no idea the champ had a performance like that in him. I mean, I don't think many people were that shocked, to be fair. Behrman went on to say, "I'm like, wow, just when you think he's good and he's at his best, he finds another level. And just what a masterclass. Like, respectfully, it's that not the best pound for pound fighter in the world, then I don't know who is." And his thoughts are hard to disagree with. Behrman even suggested that he was the best on the planet after his previous fights with Max, but this performance just solidifies it. He suggested that the second fight was unnecessary and urged fans to recognize the greatness we're witnessing, saying Volk is the best featherweight in the world. He's the best pound for pound fighter in the world right now. Is there anyone better in your opinion? Volk has detailed a pretty inopportune moment USADA decided to call him on now. Stay tuned. Prior to Volk's second title fight with Max back in 2020, it turns out anti-doping agents were not willing to let him prepare properly for his bout, dropping by a pretty inappropriate time to test the champ. Speaking after Saturday's trilogy fight, Volk revealed that he now felt comfortable enough to tell us what happened. He said, "Now I can say it because I went and done that to Max, the second fight with Max. You obviously don't know about the USADA coming to wake me up 4 hours before I had to get up, which is ridiculous. Don't know how that happened and how that could happen. I'm over that." He also revealed how he had been taking melatonin tablets in an effort to sleep, describing the experience as rough and saying how he didn't turn up for the second fight, whilst Max did, but the Hawaiian still couldn't get the better of him. Volk gave more details of the night in question, saying they woke everyone up but he couldn't go. He then had a water load but was up for a long time, which is definitely no way to prepare for a world title fight. Volk said, "It was halfway through my sleep," which is scandalous really. I mean, can they not just wait until the morning? It would really make no difference whatsoever, right? What do you guys make of the USADA's behavior? And finally, where is Volk going to be fighting next? Let's see. For some insane reason, Volkanovski continually gets booed when turning out for fights in America. We can only really put it down to American fans not knowing or appreciating the greatness they're watching. If you listen to his regular appearances on the MMA Hour or watch his Cooking with Volk show, he actually comes across as a decent guy. And Volk, who suggested that a lot of people still needed to see him go out there and prove himself that way, said that he's sick of being booed in other countries, which of course must be pretty tiresome. He went on to implore the UFC to book an Australia card explaining, "I'm sick of getting booed, man. I'm a nice guy and I'm getting booed every time I fight in other people's countries. Everyone's getting a nice home crowd advantage when I'm the champion. This trilogy, I didn't get to fight on my home turf at all. It was neutral ground and 2 on his turf. Let me defend my belt back home and we're making it happen." Who do you think Volk fights next? As always, thanks for dropping in today, and remember to tune in again next time when we'll be discussing all sorts of other cool bits and pieces. And why not do us a solid by sharing today's video with any UFC heads. Bye guys.